Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Dr. Glenvo, and I am excited to have a friend on here. But before I introduce him, I have to ask you guys this. Are you placing implants? That's number one. Are you placing an implant that also has digital support, but also has research behind it? And have you heard of Neo-Biotech? If you said no to any of those things, right, then you have to tune in today because I have the man. It is Joe Laith. He's the head of marketing. He's the head of everything literally at Neo-Biotech USA. But Joe is also a seasoned traveler. And again, you guys are probably wondering about that. We will talk about that later. If you want to know the best airports, if you want to know the best cities to go to, this is the man. But he also knows a lot about implants. Joe, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vaughn. It is a absolute pleasure to be here with you today.
So,
What a great introduction. I'm like,
well, you know what? I have to tell this. I mean, for those who are wondering where you're at right now, where are you at right now? Right there,
lovely
right
city of Las
there.
Vegas.
Las
Yes.
Vegas, Las Vegas there. So he's tuning in right from Las Vegas. So Joe, NeoBiotech. What's amazing about NeoBiotech is this company's been around for a while. There's so
Yes.
many different implant companies. People are always asking about like what implant company should I go with? And I always tell people, look, most implant manufacturers, the implant itself is pretty good, right? But there's
Agree.
small differences. But to me, the biggest difference is the support, is the ease of use, all those different things. So we're just gonna dive right in because I tell everybody that NeoBiotech is implant dentistry's best kept secret. And
Oof.
unfortunately, there's a lot of people who don't know about it, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of people who are enjoying the benefits. They are just benefiting tremendously, not only from the technology with NeoBiotech is created with, but man, we're about to talk about a great deal. I mean, again, if you are thinking about trying out NeoBiotech, now is the time. So, Joe, I want to turn it over to you. I want to turn it
Absolutely.
over to you and have you kind of like walk us through NeoBiotech. I'll ask some questions in between there, but I'm just excited to have you on here for you to explain about this amazing implant.
Thank you so much. Very humbled. Beautiful introduction. You raised the bar so high now. I'm like, okay. But I absolutely agree with you with everything that you said. There are so many implant companies out there today. It makes it very hard to choose. But I always emphasize on support. Like you said, implants are generally great. They're placed in certain ways. Different companies have different ways of placing the implants. But what really you're investing in as well is the people that you're going to be working with, not just the products. And support is something very, very important for me personally, for us in Neobiotech. And I'm going to kind of tie it into what I did in the back in the days and how that sort of linked into what I'm doing today.
Yeah.
So thank you again for a wonderful introduction. I'm going to share the screen. I've created a couple of slides that basically will kind of go over Neobiotech in general.
And as you're getting that screen ready, I just want to let everyone know a lot of times uh, think that NeoBiotech is a new company. But the
Mhm.
thing is that NeoBiotech has been around and I mean, very big globally, with a lot of research and development behind it. So it's not an implant company that is running out of one little small office somewhere overseas, right? Obviously, you can see that picture right there.
I was just going to say,
That's the headquarters right there. So
that's the
again, Joe,
headquarters.
I'm going to
Yes.
let you kind of share that and I'll chime in as we go through the presentation.
Awesome, awesome. So first of all, I just want to thank you again for this wonderful opportunity to be working together, and the support is not just for the users, the support is as well for you and for the community, and then for having us with you today. So this is basically NeoBiotech. NeoBiotech in general is an implant company that's been around for over 25 years, actually, led and founded by Dr. Ha, Youngku Ha himself, who is still practicing prosthodontist today. So a
Wow.
lot of the innovations, a lot of products that you can actually that you'll see here, and probably you've seen before. I have a lot of, when I sit down with my doctors and with my friends and we talk about it, they always tell me, wow, I mean, we can tell that somebody sat there and thought of it. Unlike just like making products or, getting another product, reverse engineer it sort of, and then create your own. This is something that was actually thought of for the patient's well-being and for the benefit of the patient. And then obviously to simplify the workflow. So our our goal is always to keep things simple, safe, first of all, simple and smart. That's the three S's that we always emphasize on. So NeoBiotech established about 25 years ago, and we also, Dr. Ha founded GAO, which is basically a platform that offers and connects clinicians from all over the world in one platform so that you can always sign up. It's for free, obviously, for NeoBiotech users and non-NeoBiotech users if you would like to explore and if you have questions or anything like that. Clinicians there usually covers surgeries from simple implants to ridge widenings to all-on-X to sinus lifts, everything. So I would definitely recommend you to visit it. It's gaoforum.com. Like I said, it's a free registration, so you're all welcome to sign up. And something that Dr. Ha emphasized on is basically the clinical success. So over here it shows basically an implant that was placed in 2013 and the same implant in 2025, and it kind of shows you what it has.
Yeah.
And success doesn't come only from creating the perfect implant design or the perfect implant or surface treatment. Obviously, those are points that are very, very important, but there is a lot more to it, which a lot of companies maybe and clinicians don't really pay attention to, and it's the process on or how to place the implant, right? So that's why we have the theory, what we call, it's not theory, it's fact, it's called anytime loading concept. And basically it's an advancement of what the immediate loading protocol is. So the immediate loading is obviously, we place, so this is the regular table, is basically you place the implant and then you have that 3 to 4 week or between 3 to 5 week where you experience the dip where the implant is as its most vulnerability and you can actually remove the implant. And then you have the secondary stability comes in when the osseointegration starts happening and then it picks up. So that 3 to 5 weeks, we try to eliminate that. So we've achieved a perfect implant design to get the initial stability at the beginning. But what we also did is that we've improvised and we basically worked on the drilling protocol to let the body take less time to heal so that we can push the secondary stability up. By doing and combining those two, the drilling protocol, the bone, studying the bone of the patient, and the product design, we managed to get a total stability as flat as shown up here, meaning you can actually place the implant at any time. So our implant is basically, we call this a CMI implant, which is, it's like a NeoBiotech lingo, CMI implant. And CMI basically talks about C being the coronal or the crest, and then M is the middle portion of the implant, and then I is the inferior portion of the implant. So by dividing the implant into 3 sections, we're able to sort of understand the bone anatomy and the kind of bone, the type of bone that we're dealing with. Sometimes we have full D1 from top to bottom, and we have to treat that differently. Sometimes we have cortical bone, but then it jumps to D4 at the middle portion and the inferior portion. So we have to understand that. If we do not divide the implant into 3 sections, it'll make it really hard for us to determine whether we should use a cortical tap or not in before the placement. So there is a whole protocol behind it. I would love to share that with you as well. There's more if anybody's asking. Obviously, it takes a long time to kind of go over it, but this is the surface that I'm covering with you. If you are interested in getting more into it, we run courses. We have webinars online that you can read. There's a lot of videos on YouTube, and I'll be more than happy to share that with you personally as well and send it to you if you're looking to know more about it.
So is the anytime loading the CMI, all these CMI implant design, I mean, this is proprietary to NeoBiotech, correct?
Exactly. And like I said, it's a combination of the design that we achieve, the micro threads and the shape of the implant, the taperness of the implant, and then the drilling sequence that we use and for each bone density. So we don't treat every bone in every patient the same. You have to study the X-rays. You have to divide the implant into three sections, and then based on those three sections, you'll use that protocol to basically achieve it. One of the things that's on top of my head is basically when you have really dense cortical bone of the crest, what we try to do is we try to release the stress on that area. It's the same thing. The way I explain it to doctors, this is my finger. When I put a lot of pressure on my finger, what happens is I cut the blood supply and it turns white. So the same thing happens when you're placing the implant. So what you need to do is release that stress at the coronal portion of the implant, or where we try to place the implant, to release that stress so that you can have more of blood flow. Now, a lot of our clinicians experience bone growth rather than bone loss. And whoever hears me now and they've experienced that, please, comment or say something, to agree with. Because a lot of them, they end up using sort of a profiler to remove the excessive bone that grew on top so that they can get a healing abutment, or, if they're doing a second stage. So that's one of the ways of doing it. So like I said, it's not just the product design, combined with studying the X-ray, the technique, and knowing the patient. Each patient is different.
Yeah.
We don't try to cut corners. We're not like, oh yeah, just drill high speed, skip drills and place your implant so that you can gain 5 extra minutes. Let's spend those extra 5 minutes, because you'll have a really high success rate.
Well, for those who just listened to this,
yes,
right, you're probably thinking, come on, man, come on. But here's the thing, guys. There is going to be, I know you're probably wondering, like, okay, I want to see for myself. There's going to be an opportunity for you to see for yourself. There's actually going to be another opportunity for you to be surrounded by clinicians who love using NeoBiotech, and you can also debate them in person too. There's also another opportunity. I'm going to get his information. We're going to get his contact info to call Joe. And you know what? If you're in Las Vegas, I'm sure he'll be happy to meet up with you, and he can talk to you about all this stuff. Obviously, there's so much that we want to cover right now, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to people saying, come on, right? Like, you got to explain that to me. And there's going to be multiple opportunities we're going to offer, especially with a great deal as well. You can see for yourself in your own hands. But if you really need to ask someone a question, we're going to get you connected to Joe. But with that being said, this is like a teaser, right? Now the gears are spinning. Now you're thinking, okay, that's not what I learned or anticipated with my implants whenever I try to place it and with the immediate load, right? Of course, that's why NeoBiotech is implant dentistry's best kept secret, right? You're now learning the secret, and you're about to learn more. So, Joe, keep going there. I just want to let everyone know, because again, they're probably hitting pause right now and say, "Where is this guy? I want to call him up right now." But guys, listen to the rest of the podcast. Watch the rest of the video podcast here. There's more stuff, and there's more. You'll get more questions, but they're going to be good questions. So, Joe, keep going there.
Thank you. And just to add to what you said, if we have somebody that is interested in kind of getting to know the system and try it out, we definitely offer trials. You can get an implant. Still, Joe said, Joe mentioned in the podcast. Yeah. So we'd love to offer you a free implant to try out and see how it is for yourself, basically, and how simple it is, how fast and how safe it is. So moving on, here basically, this is our implant system. That's our IS3, the latest implant, and I like to call it a joker implant because it works with any type of bone. Like I said, it's just all you need to manipulate is just the drilling sequence so that it fit that type of bone, the C, M, and the I that we're looking for. It's pure titanium grade 4 for maximum biocompatibility for long-term strength. So a lot of times we get asked, what titanium grade is it? It's titanium grade 4. The surface treatment is SLA active, so sandblasted, acid etched, not once, but twice.
Hmm.
And for those asking, what does that mean? It means that when the implant is being surface treated, they will blast the implant with small, tiny little particles to rough the implant surface.
Mhm.
Now, to clear those particles out, they dip the implant in acid so that these little particles can kind of get eaten up and then fall off the surface treatment or the surface of the implant. So what we do is we dip that twice. We repeat the same process twice to get rid of as many particles as possible to get that roughness that the bone and the blood really, really
Now,
likes.
most companies they just do it one time, right?
They do it one time, and I mean, there is a lot of different process of surface treatment. SLA Active has been proven that basically it's the top surface treatment, but we've taken the next step in enhancing it basically. And then the internal connection is something that I always preach about. Some find, they focus on other things. I personally, for me, I think connection is one of the very important parts of an implant. And the way it's designed here is that we do have a conical seal connection of 11 degrees and followed by hex, a 2.5 internal hex, followed by an additional conical connection beneath the hex.
Wow.
That is the part that a lot of companies do not have or do not really focus on talking about. And obviously screw retain, so you can secure it with a screw in there. Now you ask me, what does that little second conical connection mean? It means that when you try to position your abutment or any prosthetic part, the hex does not touch the bottom and then it just stays and stops. There is another seal connection underneath. So the tighter you go, the more the abutment will sink. Now, another advice that I will say, metal stretches, wait for 10 minutes, go back and tighten again, and then it will sink. So screw loosening, crown comes off, very rare. In my years with Biotech, I
That's
have
the
not.
most annoying thing. You work
And
so hard to get the screw, I mean,
exactly.
the crown on, and it starts getting loose and starts spinning. You got to go back in there, spend more chair time. Again, that's the one thing I've noticed here. Everything that you said, spending that extra, a little bit of time to,
5 minutes, yeah.
yeah, a little bit more time, and that saves you so much headaches later on.
Absolutely.
So that's
Absolutely.
that's what I love about the philosophy of NeoBiotech with the implants.
Absolutely. And then the one of the well, there's a lot of features. I keep saying one of the features. Another feature is that we have is the machined collar or at the surface of the neck of the implant. It's basically designed. We call it the micro grooves, which if you look here, it's got grooves onto it, which allow the soft tissue to heal and settle into these grooves to basically seal from any bacteria or anything that could harm the implant and cause peri-implantitis. So once you remove the healing abutment, all you see is straight into the connection of the implant. There is no like neck of the implant or surrounding. You don't see anything. It's just straight into the connection. And that really makes it very secure and very, very safe. The depth of the threads, we have about 0.9 millimeter deep pitch with a edge that is straight and not V-shaped so that to gain more stability. The implant is self-tapping. It has white cutting edges. And another feature that I really like is the apex of the implant. It does not have end cutting edges. It's not flat. So there's no harm if you're trying to get in and try to bump into, like if you accidentally, let's say you're placing the implant, and you get into the sinus or anything like that. There's no harm. It's just basically, it's very gentle. It's got a gentle tip to it. Restorative wise, we have a huge lineup of restorative components as far as regular abutment, solid abutments, shapeable abutments, angled abutments, multi-unit abutments. Digital wise, we do have scan posts and bars, metal scan bodies, titanium links, and then obviously, scan bodies and everything. Pickup impressions for regular traditional impression taking, we have close and open tray, but we also have something that I like to call the hybrid, which is a pick cap impression taking. It combines both open tray and closed tray
Huh.
in one. So if you're still taking traditional impression taking, this could be, and you like to use open tray, but sometimes you get tied up and needing to use closed tray because of the gap or the limitations. This component works like both. So it gives you the leeway and the benefit of a closed tray, but it has a cap that when you take the impression, it comes off with the impression tray that you can reposition. So it's kind of a hybrid,
Wow.
when you take it off and then it comes off with it. So that's
And
one thing
for the
that
doctors who can't make up their mind, there you go. You get a little bit
and
of a
exactly, exactly. And that's one of the wow products that, oh my God, somebody actually thought of that. That's one of them. Moving forward to some of our freehand surgical kit, we have plenty of surgical kits, almost actually overwhelming of how many kits we have. And that just tells you how like the solutions that we can offer. Freehand, we have a signature kit that combines all sizes of implants from 3.2 all the way to 7 millimeter in width,
wow.
combines in one single
You
kit.
don't have to get two kits there.
You don't have to get two kits. So that's that one combines everything.
Pretty much
And also
it through the whole line. You just need
there's
this
all
one
that.
kit.
Yeah, and then also it gives you ability to place tissue level implant, bone level implants,
Wow.
external hex implant, and all of our entire basically implant lineup. One thing to mention that our implants from 3.5 all the way to 7 millimeter diameter shares the same platform. It's platform switching, but they all share the same platform. So if
Oh,
you're
wow.
stocking up on your restorative parts and healing appointments, etc., impression copings, they all share the same platform. So you don't need to think twice about color codes, platform, with this, with that. 3.5 all the way to 7, they all share the same
Wow.
platform. Another feature, another kit we have is an easy stop drill kit with built-in stoppers. This one, probably for doctors getting into implants, especially like when we do live surgery courses, this one is something that will make you go back home and sleep without having to think twice
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
sleep comfortably. It has built-in stoppers. So for every implant size, there's one drill. All you need to do is just drill and it will stop all the way to the crest. The shape is designed this way, and these little notches here, every notch reflect the previous size of drill. So it's guided not only in depth, but also when you position your drill, it kind of gives you the ability to get the perfect orientation when you place the implant. Ridge wider kit. If you're placing an implant in a narrow ridge, there is a solution for it, which allows you to basically split the ridge. If you have a total of 4 millimeter, you split it in the middle. You get 2 millimeter buccal, 2 millimeter lingual. Drop an implant in, bone graft in the middle, and then there's different ways of doing it. Limitations. So obviously, that's like more of a clinical decision how the procedure will be made. But in general, yes. So it has expanders again from 3.0 all the way to 5 millimeter. So you can actually place a 5 millimeter implant there if you wish.
Wow.
A Neo prosthetic kit. It's a prosthetic kit that allows you to place, restore all kind of abutments that NeoBiotech has, including angled drivers to allow you to get into these awkward positionings. Pick out impression. Again, that's the hybrid. One of our fire products is the ACM, the auto chip maker, for hard to harvest autogenous bone from the chin, from the ramus. And these ones, I mean, again, if we have anybody here listening, perios, they love it. We have a lot of people that really enjoy this product, and try it out. It's really, really great. We're very big on sinus solutions. We're actually the first company that came up with the crestal and lateral approach sinus solutions. So we have bigger companies that used to actually get these kits and resell them. However, right now, NeoBiotech, we're independent. We're the only ones that are selling these kits. So I'm sure you've seen it before. I have one of my very dear friends close to me. He's in Colorado. He has the first original kit. And
Wow.
he basically got every version of him. So when I first met him and he said, "Hey Joe, this is what I have," and I looked and I was like, "This is a museum kit. Like it has to be. It's amazing." And I'm like, I have personally, I've never seen it, and he has it. So it's really amazing to see. And then 2000, these came out in 2007, 2009. Dr. Ha decided to combine both crestal and lateral and create what we call now a sinus all kit.
Wow.
Neo Sinus Alt Kit. Basically, it offers you everything, including a handle where you can use the drills into it with the stoppers and use it as osteotomes if you're looking into do osteotomes. It includes aqua lifting technique, so basically you can lift the membrane using saline, What really makes these two kits very special is the design of the drills themselves, both the S reamer for the crestal and then the LS reamer for the lateral. They are shaped and designed as an S at the apex of the drill, which when you're drilling into the sinus cavity or laterally or crestally, it actually cuts from the sides and not from the tip of the drill. So what it does, it collects bone particles and it leaves a bone disc attached to the membrane that's going to hover over the drill, like so in the pictures, and that will act as a shield. So there is absolutely nothing touching the membrane.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about perforating through the membrane.
Even though if you break through the sinus floor and you get into the membrane, there's always going to be that shield that's going to protect your membrane from any harm, right? Now, things can happen, things can go wrong sometimes, but again, we have a protocol for that. So as long as you follow the protocol, you're good. You enter in there, you put bone graft. Obviously, you use the hydraulic lift to hydraulic lift the membrane, and then obviously you put bone graft, and then that's the procedure is done. So those kits were the first kits out in the market, and then after that, sinus lifts start coming in with different type of techniques. Another two kits that really were the first kits in the market is our repair kits, which is our FR kit and SR kit, fixture removal and screw removal. These kits will allow you to retrieve or back out failed implants.
Wow,
now, some doctors misunderstands it with, if I have a fractured implant, I can use this kit to remove it. This kit mainly was invented to remove failed implants. If you have a fractured implant, unfortunately, sometimes it's very limited. I've seen some implants that had a crack that we're able to retrieve, but if you have an implant that is fully integrated almost and has a crack, and imagine you try to break that osseointegration, you can actually go up to 200 Newton centimeter. This might lead to another catastrophic, problem or failure. Now, if you have an implant that is like halfway integrated or lost a lot of bone and you try to use this works like magic. It's universal, so it has a set of screws that will work internally with multiple implant systems out there. And then depending on the size of the implant, you use these gold implant removals. I like to call them the claw. And then to go in there and try to go backwards or counterclockwise to retrieve. Now, when you get that implant out, it causes minimum damage. So you can actually go in and place another implant similar size or slightly wider. If this does not work, so I like to always say, use this kit before you decide to trephine your implant out.
Yeah.
Because if you have limited amount of bone, right, and you have a 4.5 millimeter implant, you can't use a 4.5 millimeter trephine. You have to go wider than the implant, and then you're just gonna retrieve a block of bone with an implant inside. So placing another implant will make it relatively harder because of the limitations that you have. So going in, using this kit, try to retrieve the implant. All you're gonna do is you're gonna break through that osseointegration and then take the implant out, and then you can drop similar size implant in if needed.
The one thing that I noticed here as you're talking, Joe, through, NeoBiotech has literally a kit for every situation. I mean, literally. But what I also noticed too, that not only a kit for every situation, but the kits are streamlined to where, yes, you might have a few kits, but they literally, that's all the kits you need.
Yeah.
Especially with the sinus lift kit where it's kind of all together. The repair solution, I love this because here's the thing. A lot of times, how many times have we been, whether the things happen and you gotta, retrieve like a broken screw or something, and you're just literally digging around and wondering and praying and asking, like, what should I do? And people come up with different techniques to retrieve, failed implants or, broken screws. I love the fact that you got that problem. Here you go. Yeah. We got a kit. Everything you need in the kit. I love that. And you know what? If there's another brand, guess what? You can use this to take that out. Then you put a NeoBiotech in there. There you go.
And there's something that I don't want to say bothers me, but like something that really sometimes I think of and I'm like, why would you do that? Please do not buy these retrieval kits or whatever kits that you see on Instagram that pops up on your feet.
Yes, I know what you're talking
Those
about.
are cheap, yes, but they're cheap for a reason. Because the thing is, if anything happens and then something break inside of the implant as you try to retrieve it, you have to trough it now. And if you do not have a trough at the office, you're gonna have to improvise, and
Yeah.
you don't want to get there. So sometimes spend the extra money to get something that's been proven and it's been there
And this
for
is a kit
years and years and years.
specifically. It's
100%.
specifically for this. It's a
100%.
it's a fixture removal kit. It's a screw
Yes.
removal kit.
Yeah.
It's in the name right there. And so, for those who are watching, I mean, if you don't have one of these, if the company you're working with, they don't have anything like this, and you're having to go on eBay and just, you saw something on Instagram with some AI videos, you don't go
Yeah.
there, right? Like we actually have a solution here, but I think this will also let you know that if the company you're working with doesn't have like a solution for you, maybe you should rethink about maybe working with a company that already comes and gives you a solution for every issue that come up because the founder has been in these situations and he knows what you need. So I love this. And
Solid
again, I
point.
love the fact
Solid
that there's a
point.
kit for everything.
I couldn't have said it better. Solid point. Amazing. So that's, and then the next kit would be the screw removal kit. So sometimes, patients bite or like I said, the connection is not, something happened and then the abutment screw fractured halfway in there. And then what are you going to do? Are you going to try to find the implant out?
Yeah,
Hold on a second. We
yeah,
got a solution for you.
yeah,
So
yeah,
use
yeah.
the screw removal kit to get in there inside of the implant and precisely drill onto. Well, there's different ways, there's different protocols of doing it, but you can actually get in there and physically remove that fractured screw in there. Now, there are different ways of screw to fracture. There is screw that would fracture halfway, like this, let's say here, and then there are screws that would fracture right at the abutment level at the hex. So there are different ways of removing those, and we cover all those solutions. Again, it's a universal kit that has connections for external implants, that has connections for internal implants, and if your implant is none of those, we have a conical connection or a guide that you can fit in to get through. Because if you have a broken screw and then you don't use any of these guides, what's going to happen is you might cause more damage to the internal threading. And if you do that, there's no way for
You
your
can't
screw
use
to
the
come out
implant.
anymore. You can't. So you're going to have to try find it.
I
I
will
like
tell
to
you
call
this,
these.
Joe.
Go
I don't
ahead.
even know. I don't know how much this kit costs, but obviously we're gonna talk about Nifty deal, and it's gonna be a
Yes.
sweet deal.
Oh,
But for
100%.
those who've been in that situation, I've been in that situation where
Yep.
the screw was broke and I literally had to figure things out and improvise. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're ever in that situation, you will pay whatever it takes.
Yeah.
You will pay. It doesn't matter. Someone can tell you it's like X amount of money. You will get into your wallet. You will pay if someone can give you a solution right then and there. So guys, it's not a matter of if it'll happen. It's a matter of when. It has nothing to do with your skill as a clinician. Stuff happens, right? Just like with car insurance, right? People are like, I'd never get. Stuff happens, right?
Yeah.
This is insurance. And it's not just about, of course, you want the patient to be to comfortable. You also don't want to waste any time. But the amount of stomach lining you will save by having this kit and not
Mhm.
just having an ulcer there next to your patient is
Yep.
priceless. Like, guys, I mean, if you're looking and you're like, you know what, I'm using implant. Okay, fine, 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 fine. I'm using implant already. Okay, okay, you got implant. Okay, okay, okay. But do you have a repair solution? If you do not, you are literally like flying because someone here is part of his previous career is flying is
Yeah.
literally flying blind. Okay, if you
Yeah.
don't have this, so I just
Yeah.
had to put my 2 cents in there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And another just to kind of spice it up a little bit more, you can if you have an abutment screw that is stripped, let's say you try to torque the implant and then you strip and you can't back that out, you can use this as well. And
Oh, okay, I know that happens to a lot of people.
I had a case recently with a doctor that called me and said, I have the kit, but I this patient came in, the abutment is the abutment screw is stripped, and I need to get it out, and they thought that they had to cut and they had to do all that stuff, and it's really hard to get in there, and as we're talking on the phone, this doctor did the process, or the sequence that I said, and they got it out, and it's amazing to hear that, because, and listen, that's why I really love what I do, because when I help to retrieve or solve a case like this, and I get to hear how relieved people get, or how relieved they are, that gives me so much energy to go out there and do even more and do even better. So a lot of people look at me and they're like, okay, 10 years in, why are you still smiling as if like it's your first day doing at the job? And I say, because it's that feeds me so much, energy and passion. So that's why. But enough of me. Going back to this. So yeah, you can actually remove stripped screws with this kit as well. Great solutions. And if you want to try them out, let me know. Let us know.
Yeah.
We'll be more than happy to
For
have
those
you
who are
try them.
watching and listening, if you don't have a repair solution, literally, you don't have your whole armamentarium.
Yeah.
You do not. You are just literally like just gambling right there. Okay,
Lucky. Yeah,
gambling
yeah, yeah.
literally, and I'm not saying gambling because Joe is in Las
In
Vegas.
Vegas.
Okay, but literally you are gambling. So again, what better ways to get that kit there? Then also kind of that maybe if that's the way that you kind of learn more about NeoBiotech and understand how what their philosophy is. Again, if you have this kit and it helps you out, trust me, Joe is gonna be ecstatic. He'll be ecstatic. He would love to hear from you at that point. Hey, if you have this kit and you are in a situation like that, doctor, please call him.
I'm telling you live here. Just call me. It's okay. You can call. You can bother me. Not a problem. That's awesome. All right. Now, the AnyCheck stability checker. I mean, there's a lot of us, a lot of doctors out there that place an implant, and then the time for the restoration comes in, and we're not 100% whether we should or we should not. How do we determine that? Some people, tap on the implant, and they, musically hear, how it taps. Some use other ways of measuring the stability.
Sometimes they torque test it.
Sometimes they reverse torque test it.
They
Sometimes,
they, they just they do the barbaric way, reverse. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now. This is, I mean, we're 2025 now. Okay,
yeah.
if you're still reverse torquing, get with the times, man. Get with the times. It's not very comfortable for your patient. Okay, get with the times.
Yeah, because all that tapping, and with all respect, I mean, look, I've 10 years, I've seen so many different ways, even for a sinus lift, etc. I'm not bashing about that, like, but I have been in cases where the same patient have had two sinus lifts, right? Done. One of them is the Summers technique, which is the very traditional old technique, and then using our kit, and the difference. I'm not saying it's not successful. It is successful. What I was the feedback from the patient, and that was a doctor that was trying out our sinus kit.
Uh-huh.
I did not really talk to the doctor. I went to the patient and I said, "So I heard that you had another sinus lift made before." She goes, "Yeah." And then I said, "So what's your take? What's your feedback?" And the patient said, "Oh, I didn't even think that you guys were done. I thought there was more coming, but the bone graft was in, everything was." So it's just how comfortable it is for patients as well. Like Dr. Bo said, we're in 2025 now, and things have developed so much. So be ahead of everybody else. So the AnyCheck, obviously, it's a stability check device that is. I personally love. A lot of doctors love it. A lot of doctors that place implants today, NeoBiotech users and non-NeoBiotech users, they have multiple of AnyChecks in different rooms at the office for restorative, for restoration. And not only that, but also it backs you up. Because for any reason, if a patient walks in, and actually this is a case that happened with one of my customers here in Las Vegas, the patient walks in and said, "Hey, I'm attending a wedding and I need my crown. I can't go to the wedding without having my crown. Implant has been placed, but they need a crown." And the doctor's saying, it's not time to load the implant because the bone is this, the bone is that.
Hmm.
And guess what? Pull out the AnyCheck and educate the patient. Tell the patient this is what's going to happen. I'm going to take a reading. If the reading is red, your implant, there's something wrong with the implant. Red is no go. If the reading is yellow or orange, and there is that different numberings that we can go over as well later. If it's within the orange range, it means your implant is in the healing process. If it's green, we'll go ahead and we load it. But if it's any between the red and the orange, I've given you the news, and you decide whether you want it or not. Because if anything happens and we get complications, then it's not on me because I'm backed up. I've taken the notes. I said I used the AnyCheck. The IST was showing, let's say 50, and it's not ready. Patient, push to get the crown, and that's right. So it's a really great tool. What it does is basically we don't need smart pegs or anything that will connect onto the implant. This is something that you can actually physically sort of like let's say physically touches the component. So if you have a healing abutment, if you have a crown, if you have an impression coping, I don't know, anything that sticks above the implant, you can actually rest the tip of the AnyCheck
You don't have
on
to
there.
put like an extra connection on it or anything.
Nothing.
Oh,
Anything that is
wow.
basically sticks above the gum. Yeah, and that's connected to the implant, then it sticks above the gum.
So if
What
there's
you
a
do
healing abutment, you just stick it on the healing abutment.
Yeah, exactly. So this is
Oh,
an
I love
implant.
that.
All I do is I will place the AnyCheck this way and at a certain angulation. You can't go that way because it works with gravity and it will give you error. So within 30 degrees, so either 90 degrees flat floor level or 30 degrees up, you press the button and you let go. There is a rod inside that will tap 6 times. If the implant is stable and there is no mobility, it'll give you a green number and basically it's good to go. You can load your implant. If for any reason there's, let's say it's yellow, low stability, or red, it has a built-in safety mechanism inside that will stop after 2 taps to not cause any further damage to the implant. Because what it does, it hits and then it measures the time between the first and the second hit. So if there is any delay, it means your implant is mobile. So that's why we always advise to do buccal towards the lingual in case you have any lingual fracture, and then you do lingual towards the buccal if there is any buccal fracture. Because if you have a fracture of the buccal and then your lingual wall is completely intact and you're hitting buccal to lingual, it's going to give you high reading. But
Mm.
if you hit lingual towards the buccal, now with the fracture here, the implant might move this way. So your readings might be different, but it will tell you that there's something wrong either with the buccal or the lingual. If you
Wow.
want to do mesial distal, you can do that as well, just to be extra safe. But you can, this is a great combination. If you get high torque, if you are following the anytime loading concept, you get high torque, 35 and above, and then you use the AnyCheck and you get a green reading. Guess what?
You ready to go?
You're ready to go.
Oh, I love it. And
You're
and you
ready to
know
go.
what the great thing is you know, you don't have to guess here, right? And
Nope.
we're going to talk about digital solutions because now, other doctors are like, well, it seems like everything that NeoBiotech has, it takes the guessing out. And
Absolutely.
we're about to talk about the digital solution because that takes out another guessing. So that, again, two things I want you guys to think about here, right? Uh, NeoBiotech is saving time by making sure the chances of your implant succeeding of it's up really high. And Joe just basically talking about all the different things about the surface, treating the surface multiple times, all the connections, all those things. He talked about that. The second thing is that again, they have a tool for everything. Again, if you guys start thinking about it, it's all about saving time. They have a tool for everything. You don't have to think, saving time. And the third thing here is right here. Oh, and then of course the protocol, right? The protocol is supposed to save you time, right? You want to load it as fast as possible. And then now with the AnyCheck, it's another level of letting
Imagine
you
if you're
know. So you
doing,
save time.
imagine if you're doing all on four, all on six,
Oh gosh, yeah.
and you need to remove every multi-unit abutment and to connect one of those smart pegs into them to get
Oh
a reading
gosh.
of each implant, 4 top, 6 top, 4 bottom,
I
six
mean,
bottom.
you use so much time. This right here, literally, you
Tick,
bring
tick,
it
tick,
to
tick.
the
So you go
yeah, and it taps for
all,
you.
that's it, taps, and then you
Oh, I
read it.
love
There
it.
is a protocol for it of how high the component is above, above the gum, but everything will be provided to you. So once you get your head around it, it'll be, not easy. Bone materials, membrane, bone graft we do outsource and we do sell. So if there's anything, let us know. All types, a huge list. I can't even get over it, like go over the entire, types and brands that we do, but we do have those solutions as well. So it's basically a one-stop shop. So we can cater that as well. Guided solutions and digital solutions. So we have our Neo Guide and Varo Guide system. Our Neo Guide system, basically, it's an in-house planning and fabrication at NeoBiotech. So we have our own digital lab that will not only fabricate, but will plan the entire case or cases for you.
Again, going back to saving time, right, Joe?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Right?
All we need from you is a CBCT DICOM file and an STL file from the intraoral scan. Unless if you're doing a regular impression, you can take an impression and send that to our lab. They will create a model off of it, and then they will 3D scan that, and then we will generate the STL files for you for that case. But if you have the STL files, it'll cut so much more time. So our team will get those data, and then we will combine everything together, merge it together. We will then start planning the case for you from A to Z, from the restorative aspect down to every little detail. The team will record a 3-minute video or less, and then they will share it with you to get your take on it. If you like the planning, which I would say 98% of the time, our doctors will click confirm right away digitally right there and then. And if you have any changes that you want to implement or make, all you need to do is just type the changes that you want into an email, and then our team will go ahead and they will do it. If there is any complication, you can be on the phone with them. They can do team viewer over the screen, and they can do that with you. Once you're happy and you confirm, the fabrication starts. So all total, from the time you send the files, they reach out to you, they tell you everything's good. If your CBCT does not provide good imaging, they will let you know if there's any distortions, or if there's any scattering or anything like that. They will let you know to retake it. But all in all, it should take no less than 10 days, and that's like tops. So usually it's a lot less than that. The fabrication will happen. A guide will look like this, tooth supported and soft tissue supported, and then everything will be shipped out to you, including a drilling sequence that will tell you at what speed, what drill, and what torque, and when to irrigate, and what everything, and how deep, and basically it's an A4 paper that you will get with the entire lineup of the drill. And it's not one drilling sequence for every patient. It's one sequence per patient, depending on the bone density and everything, and the whole CMI concept. So you will get that. You can put that up on your cabinet, right above your tray or your surgical kit. And then as you're doing, all you need to do is just cross-check. So I have a drill this way, this size, at the speed, at the torque. Cross-check with your assistant, pick up the drill, attach it to your handpiece, and all you need to do is just drill through the guide, and that's it.
I love it. I mean, again, going back to what I said earlier, it's all about saving time.
Yes.
It's all about taking the guesswork out. Look, again, it's 2025. Okay, the days of just winging it and hoping, those days are over. Literally, it does not get any simpler than that. But what I love about NeoBiotech is it's about the support. I talked about it when we just came on. I mean, most implant companies, their implants are good, okay, or else they wouldn't be on the market. The difference is the support that you get. And again, from the kits, from actually not even the kits, from the actual protocol to the implant, to the kits, to the tools that you can use to save time and to keep you safe, and now even to the digital solution, which, if I was listening to you say this, I would imagine, gosh, I would pay hundreds upon hundreds of dollars for this. Yeah. This is very helpful to me. I would do that. It would save me time, which saves me money. But Joe, how much does this all cost?
Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready for it, because again,
so there's one thing I forgot to mention. It's flapless, so you don't need to cut soft tissue. You don't need to open a flap. You don't need to suture. So I have a case, and I always do that. I mean, my relationship with my doctors are more like we're friends now. So I started something in Las Vegas where I used to go to surgeries when they doing guided surgeries, and I used to take time. I used to time how long the surgery is, and it was like, hey, so this doctor did it at this time, and then this doctor did it with this many minutes. The record-breaking time I had for one single implant, straightforward, start to finish, tissue punch all the way till implant placement, it took 5 minutes and
No.
30 seconds. I kid you not. I mean, I'm not saying here that we're sitting here and cutting corners. And by the way, our drilling protocol, as far as speed, the surgical drills, we're drilling at 50 RPM,
Okay.
not 800, not 1200.
Yeah.
The surgical drills, we drill at 50 RPM. And then I know that I'm going to get asked, why is that? Reason is because when we go high speed, we cause friction. Friction causes heat. Heat causes a lot of bone damage. So here, everything is guided. We do irrigation, and we're going slow speed. It changes the game completely. So
when that happened, 5 minutes. I mean, did you just look down at your watch and he was already done?
Yeah, I mean, I have a picture on Instagram with that doctor, and I'm gonna try to send this to him.
Joe, well, we'll do this at the end, but Joe, just what's your Instagram so people can follow and they can look at some of these cases?
Simple. It's NeoBiotech _Joe. NeoBiotech.
And I'll put that in the comments again, guys. You want to see all these things? Go look for yourself.
Yeah.
If there's probably a ton of questions now. It's okay. I'm going to share his contact information. Reach out. Joe loves talking to these people. He loves it.
On Instagram. Yeah, anytime.
He loves it.
Anytime. So going back to the price, are you ready? So the guides are fabricated per quadrants, right? Regardless of how many implants you can squeeze in one quadrant.
Squeeze in four.
Four?
They just went crazy. There's four.
Okay. Four implants for all the implants, including the planning and the fabrication. Are you doing let me ask you this question. Are you doing traditional impression taking, or are you doing
I'm doing digital.
Digital. So for doing digital is $89.
I was thinking, you know what I was thinking, Joe? I was thinking like I would pay a couple $100 per implant. But you just told me it's for a quadrant. Like if I squeeze in okay, I said four, maybe I'm just going overboard. Like there's at least two. That's reasonable. Yeah. A lot of people, reasonable.
89.
You told me two, $89.
$89. $89 if you're taking an intraoral scan, if you're using iOS. $99 if you're taking a regular impression. And that's because the hustle
you gotta make the model.
It's extra $10. But $99 for a regular impression taken. If you're doing an iOS scan, then it's $89, per quadrant.
Wow.
Regardless of how many implants.
Guys, come on. Guys, come on. I mean, to literally have a cheat sheet while you're doing the case. And that's what you get. Yeah. You get everything planned. You literally have a cheat sheet right there, right in front of you.
Do you know how many times I've wanted to place an implant?
Guys, what I love about NeoBiotech is, again, if you are new to implant dentistry and you're not sure, right? And you need some hand holding, you need at this stage of your career, you need like a reassurance at each stage. Guys, we literally have talked about everything that NeoBiotech brings, and there's reassurance at every stage, even at the very beginning, which is this. At the very beginning, you're getting escorted here. You got the plan is right there, right? And you follow the protocol and you have the tools. Again, I'm just $89, guys. I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't know how they do it, but it's okay. Just say thank you very much and just take it.
Just take it off. I love it. So going back to more digital stuff. So 2019, our doctor, our CEO came up with this brilliant idea of what he called the Varo guide. The Varo guide is basically, it's an in-house guide that you can make. It's a prefabricated surgical guides that you can have the patient bite on, and the materials are very soft. So you have the patient bite on it, and then obviously you start carefully light cure it, taking out, get rid of the undercuts, position it again, take it out, light cure it completely, and it will harden as it becomes your surgical guide. You have the patient wear that and then take a CBCT with it. So now you've immediately combine STL files and that compiles together because you don't need to take a scan because now you have the orientation. Now you transfer that to a software that we will provide you. And in the software, you will plan the case in-house, right? You do your own plan, which it's a very user-friendly software. You have the milling machine at your office, and then you will take out the guide, put it into the milling machine. The milling machine will drill the access hole, including the irrigation funnel, right? And then you take that guide, you have the patient wear it, and then you do the surgery. So
What?
from the time patient walks in until the implant is placed, and that's including the CBCT, the planning, and the milling, it should not take more than 45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
It's usually, we say 30 minutes, but 45, but I say 45, I kind of try to push it a little bit more. But this is the one and only chairside guided procedure, basically, guided system. It's called the Varo Guide. Just to prove a point, our CEO, back in 2019, when he launched it, we had a symposium in South Korea where a lot of our clinicians and doctors went there. He actually was going to try it out on him, like they were going to do a surgery using the Varo Guide on our CEO, on himself. He sat in the chair. The doctor that was supposed to do the surgery grabbed everything and he was gonna start. And then our CEO said, "Hold the mirror for me. I'm gonna do it on myself." He grabs the handpiece and he started drilling and placing the implant on himself. Sorry, it was an upper. So he started drilling on himself. The other doctor was holding a mirror. Not only did he do that, but he also did a sinus lift on himself. So he used the drill, he used the Varo, he used the guide to drill through. He used the drills, the sinus drills, to go on because you can actually do guided sinus lift with it. Broke through the sinus floor. The other doctor packed bone in the sinus. And then Dr. Ha goes back again, gets the handpiece, and then place an implant on himself. 30 minutes later, once the numb, he was still numb. But 30 minutes later, he showed up to the gala dinner with everybody else.
Wow.
So he placed
That's
the implant
amazing.
on
Again,
himself.
the pricing of the digital solutions here is
Yeah,
unheard of, guys. And if
yeah.
you want to take it to another level, and I mean, do the Vero guide yourself. I'm just thinking if you are doing so many implants, right? What a service you have where the patient literally you could do it right away and do it in a safe and predictable way, but also from a marketing standpoint, if the patient sees all this technology that you have, that you're not just someone just winging it, I mean, they're gonna tell their friends. So again, I love this, and for those
100%.
who are new to implant, there is a solution here to hold your hands and help you go through and get some cases under your belt.
And you just hit the nail on its head. From the marketing aspect, I preach about this. I always talk about like tell your patients, advertise about it. We have the latest digitally placed implants. Like this is something that because the thing is with internet and ChatGPT and Google and AI, patients are now doing their homework before
Oh
showing
yeah.
up. Before showing up. So sometimes we have a patient coming in and asking, do you guys do guided surgery? Do you guys use this type of implant? Is your implant titanium or zirconia? So patients are being more and more aware. So push it. That's something that you can actually push. That's a very great selling point for your office to boost your implant production and just everything else in general. But this is something that can set you really high up, set the bar really high up. And so that's something that is available too. And if you want to try it out, let us know. We'll be more than happy to accommodate you with that.
Oh, you
Okay.
got the nifty deal. Okay, okay, guys. Again, I've been talking about how much money you're gonna save by the time, right? Time is money, right? You're gonna save a ton of time. You're gonna save a lot of time because you won't have to do it twice. That's the big thing, right? But Joe, it's close to Christmas, so
Yes.
Santa Joe has just brought us
I love
a
that
deal,
Santa Joe.
right?
I don't have the
Again,
white
Santa
beard
Joe
yet,
has
but
just brought us something here. Make sure you call him that, Santa Joe, right? Um,
use the
if you're
code
not
Santa
sure,
Joe. I'm just kidding.
but if you're not sure, like, okay, I don't know if I want to make this investment, I want to do all these things. Joe, share us Nifty Thrifty 50 deal.
So we try, we sat there and we're like, okay, we wanna do something really good, something, to the community and to your members, and obviously this wonderful organization. And we tried Nifty Thrifty 10, Nifty Thrifty 20, Nifty Thrifty 30. The only thing that sat and resonated was Nifty Thrifty 50. So from now till the end of the year, you are getting 50% off on all NeoBiotech products. So that's implants, kits, you name it. Anything that has NeoBiotech logo on, you're getting 50% off on that, which is it's great. So like Dr. Bo
Look,
said,
it's an unheard of. I don't think anyone would ever dare to do that, but the guys at NeoBiotech are so confident. They're so confident that
you'll love it.
once you see the service, once you call Joe the 50 times that he's prepared to talk to you, right? Tell all your friends to call him, everybody. Heck, if there's enough of you guys, maybe we can figure out something. Maybe we can go visit
Oh
Joe in
yeah.
his town in Vegas, right? If there's enough of you guys, I don't know, Joe. If there's, would you be okay? Like, let's hosting like 100 doctors about the nail biotech.
Oh my God. I would love that.
There
100%.
you go. There you go, guys. We can
100%.
figure out
I would
something,
love
right?
that.
But
Yeah.
um, look, they came with it, right? Everything, again,
Absolutely.
you have no reason to not place implants now. And we haven't even
Absolutely.
talked about the education. We haven't even talked about there's a super deal if you like to travel. Because again, I told you guys at the end of this, at the end of the podcast, we're going to talk about why is Joe a travel expert? We're going to share with you. You're probably thinking, man, this guy knows a lot about implants. He knows a lot about other stuff too. Okay, He's gonna share two top five lists with us for those who like to travel. But Joe, again, the deal. What's the best way to get the deal? I mean, should they message you on Instagram? Should they call you? Should they,
You can
go
definitely
to the
message me on
website? What's the best
Instagram.
way?
Absolutely. You can message me on Instagram, or you can actually call our office landline, and you'll be basically met by wonderful staff that will do everything in their power to, they're great customer service, they're great knowledge, and all you need to mention is you're from Nifty Thrifty, and you'll be well taken care of. We obviously have different, representatives that represents in different areas. I'm personally, I handle Nevada and Colorado. So if anybody is within those area, I'm always there. If anybody has any questions from anywhere else, please call me, text me, shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'll be more than happy to help. I would say, if you get stuck within the phone number, you can text me on Instagram. That's not a problem. I'll definitely make things happen. Otherwise, you can call our office and then, speak with our staff, and they will help you.
We'll
To
have all
add,
that information for them too. We'll have all the
yes,
numbers and everything. And again, we are going to share the Instagram because a bunch of people want to see these videos and pictures you're talking about, but
sure.
again,
I gotta go on. I gotta go because I think there's a lot of them that you know how it is with social media. Sometimes you update, so I gotta go back and try to find those and try
there
to
you go. There
archive
you
them.
go.
So to just Dr. Vo talked about a destination earlier. So I would love to say that also from now till the end of the year, if you know NeoBiotech and you trust NeoBiotech and you trust us, and obviously we've had a very open conversation here, and you would like to invest in NeoBiotech with 30 implants, so at 50% with 30 implants, you will get a free invitation to Vietnam
Wow.
in for our 2026 symposium, April
Wow.
18th to 20th. So that will cover the registration and the hotel. And our
Wow.
symposiums are great. You can also find previous symposiums. What I like about NeoBiotech community is this our CEO knows people in person. Like we've had doctors from Vegas that will go on. When I attended the 2024, so I emceed actually for the 2024 uh, symposium in Turkey, in Istanbul. That's one
Oh,
thing that I just
wow.
do extra. That's one extra thing that I do too. So I emceed. I was actually the MC. Yeah, I was emceeing for that. And the nice thing is, our CEO was asking me about a lot of our clients that visited back in 2019, and so he knows them very well. It's more of like a family, like friends, a group of friends. So it's a really nice feeling to be there. We never look at you as just an account. Once you're part of the family, you're actually part of the family. So that's 30 implants and more, and you get a free
Wow.
invitation basically to Vietnam, to Hanoi, and I'm personally looking forward to it.
And you know
So,
what? If people have questions, if at that point, if you have a bunch of questions, guess what? You're going to be in a full
oh,
event full of people who can answer your questions.
100%, 100%. And our CEO is very approachable. He's he loves to sit down and talk. I had one time, I had a what I thought was a crazy idea and of a design of a drill, and I actually felt comfortable going up and discussing that with our CEO. And in your mind, like like a CEO of a big company, he'll probably shut me down. He actually sat down with me and we talked about it. And, I mean, I don't think nothing happened with it, but anyways, just the fact that he actually sat down, it
Yeah.
makes you feel really,
Oh man.
important. Somebody that, so it's different. It's a different vibe. It's a different feeling. And that's
So,
what we
so
try
one
to,
thing, Joe, I want you to share with everybody that we didn't
yeah,
share in the beginning, and guys, if you haven't realized how much knowledge he has, right? You probably venture to guess that he has worked for another implant company. So, Joe, we're not going to even mention because, again, you're with the best, right? NeoBiotech, right? But
absolutely.
I want you to share as someone who has worked for another implant company, who you're very well versed in all the other implants out there. That's your job.
Yes.
What's your non-biased opinion here as far as like look, again, I said implants pretty much all very similar. There's a
Yeah.
bunch of little differences. Talk about the neobiotech difference.
Um, Like I said, I think it's a lot of it has to do with how patient focused it is.
Yeah.
Patient focus, emphasize a lot on safety, that extra time. But
Yeah.
again, that extra time actually works in your benefit because
Yeah.
it shortens a lot of the problems or the mistakes that are the hurdles that you can bump into in the way, and just smart in general.
Yeah.
Uh, Keep it simple, but again, the support that we have, the education that we always push for. We run seminars nationally and internationally very frequently. We support a lot of organizations. We're out there basically. I'd say we're different, in that way, in that sense. And after so many years now, I grew to start to kind of choose. I mean, we get approached as you know as well, and we meet so many different companies at trade shows, etc. And I'm starting to get very picky with what I do and what I believe in,
Yeah.
because it's something that I truly believe in. Like I have not seen anything that has worked against what doctors wants to do or against the patient well-being, So it's a company that ticks a lot of boxes. I still say there's no such thing as like a perfect implant company out there, but damn sure do we tick a lot of boxes? Do we check
Yeah.
a lot of boxes? Do we do that?
100%.
Yeah, we
100%.
definitely do that.
So, Joe, I've been teasing everybody. I've been teasing everybody that working in dentistry was not your first career. You
No,
have a career in travel. So I want
yeah,
you to kind of share that with us. And of course, we got a fun top five list because you're going to understand why Joe is someone who, when you want to ask about what are the best places to go to,
here we go. All right.
all those
So
things.
so I for about 6 years I used to be a flight attendant actually, before I dived into dentistry.
Before we pulled you into dentistry, before we pulled you in.
So, so I was actually based in Abu Dhabi. I was working as a flight attendant when I first turned 21. Actually, I applied as a flight attendant for Etihad Airways. If you guys are Man City fans, I'm sure you've seen the
Yeah.
sponsors, Etihad Airways. They're actually playing right now against my all-time favorite Real Madrid. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to hate me now for this, but But yeah, I started there at the age of 21. I flew for 6 years. I started in economy class and then worked my way up to a cabin manager, which is something that I'm very, very proud of. I'm very proud that I actually did that. It did open my eyes. So as you can see here, this is in Rome.
Oh
This
yeah.
is actually in Mauritius. This is in Moscow, outside the Kremlin. I traveled to a total of about 86 countries. Um, but yeah, I've been around. I've tried all types of food. I've spoken. I've tried to speak many languages. And then in 2015, my last flight was LA, Los
Wow.
Angeles. I decided to cut my wings and have, a regular life, I'll say, because flying was more of a dream.
Yeah.
It was not something that I could pursue for the rest of my life, even though there's a lot of people that are doing that for many, many years, which I respect, and I call them my sky brothers and sisters. Uh, but it's something I wanted to venture out more. I wanted to, to have a more of a stable life and family. So I cut my wings. I moved back to Sweden, which where I grew up, and then I had somebody very close to me giving me a call and say, "Hey, I started this implant company in London in the UK, and I would love for you to come because you have the personality, you have the, the way of talking, and why wouldn't you want to come and try it out?" And I'm like, what is that? What is an implant? What is an implant? So he said, "Don't worry about it. Come over and I'll teach you." So within 3 days, I did not even unpack my bags. I took the same bags. I moved out to London, to the UK, and I'm hoping a lot of my UK friends and dentists will see this, and it will be really nice to share that with them because a lot of them were a big part of this. So I remember my first PowerPoint was in the living room. I'm sitting just like this, and they were introducing, this is a crown, this is an abutment, this is a root, this is enamel, this is that. And I'm like, okay. So I took charge and I started reading. I still did a lot of reading myself, a lot of studying, and then I started attending a lot of surgeries. I used to hit doctors up and it's like, if you have any surgery, let me know. I'll come. I just want to watch. So I went there and I did that for about 3 years or so, and I learned a lot. And a lot of it I owe it to, that close person to me that got me into this because he did not get me into just implants. He got me into a whole career that I've really
Yeah.
developed and built up more and just, made me the person I am today. And this is basically at a trade show here. This is a limo service that a dentist or a dental office offers in the UK. And they used to drive Bentleys. I know this one is old, but back then it was, something
Oh
really
yeah.
popping. So they used to come and line all those up outside the parking at the trade show. And it's a great marketing stunt. So they
Wow.
used to drive, people around. And so yeah, technically from, airline skies and aisles to implant, sites and dental chairs. So
The
it's
rest
been,
is you got into dentistry. The rest is history. Now, I can't
yeah.
have someone with your we already asked you a bunch of questions when it comes to implants, and you already just established your knowledge there. I can't have someone with your
Yeah.
experience and not ask you this. You got to give me five,
Five.
five, not four. You're gonna give me five your
Five.
top
Okay.
destinations you've been to because you've pretty much flown the entire globe, right?
Yeah.
Five.
Yeah.
That's international. And give me your
Mhm.
five favorites in the States.
In the States?
Yeah. So
Okay.
let's start with five international locations you've been to. You say, I love this. Everybody should visit these places.
Okay.
Start with international.
International. Okay, international. So those places really resonates with me, and they have a very special place in my heart. I really connected with these places, not just because of how beautiful it is, but because just the feel of being there and the people, like the way of living and
Mhm.
how people just kind of carry themselves and how simple life is. At the top one, I have Seychelles. I don't know if anybody Seychelles.
Yeah.
Seychelles. It's a very tiny little island that, like, even if you look at the map, you won't really spot it. But I was so privileged and lucky enough and blessed to actually be able to travel there and spend like 2 days, there. And obviously
Wow.
just go to the beach, swim and cycle
Yeah.
and
The
go
beach.
sightseeing and eat their food and try everything out. The next one, another island called Mauritius,
Oh, okay.
very close
Where's
to
this picture?
like close to the, but that's exactly, this is where, so this is a place, it's if I recall right, this is in Mauritius, and it's a place called Seven Earth or something like that. So basically, it's a lot of land, and miraculously, it just has seven different colors, like seven different
Oh,
colors of sand in the same spot. And there was a school trip over there, so I decided to take pictures with them. I mean, I look very young. This was a while back. Mauritius, obviously United States. It's one of those countries that strike me. And I ended up living here, and it's
yeah.
it's it's nice because just you see how things are like. It's just bigger, more developed. Advanced. That's that. And then obviously Dubai. I lived there. Dubai used to be my home too, for quite some time, Dubai and Abu
So
Dhabi. So in
lives
general,
up to the hype.
yeah, so United Arab Emirates, obviously in general. So I lived both in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and then Australia is just one of those
Okay.
places that I really really enjoy. Went to Sydney, Perth. What else? Oh my God, I just the cities, but Australia is beautiful too. It's really really nice. So yeah, if you want to travel, go on honeymoon. Mauritius probably is one of those places
Yeah.
you want to, and obviously
That's not.
Maldives, Germany, and the list just goes. But those are the five ones that I could think of right now that I'm like, yeah, I have memories. There.
Okay.
Russia, Moscow is beautiful too. I mean, it's just Rome, Vatican. Just there's so many, and I could
You
sit here.
definitely got us all thinking and planning our next trips. Now you have to ask, now that you're in the States, right?
Yeah,
Now you're in
yeah.
Las Vegas, what are your top five places in the US? Again, coming from a seasoned traveler, okay?
Yeah, so San Diego. San Diego is a place that I feel like I live here in Vegas, but my heart is in San Diego. I don't know if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
San Diego
Beautiful.
is like a place, and it's just the obviously the weather is just around. Like my wife is actually from San Diego, so we spend a lot of time in San Diego, and that's why I feel like. And I don't want to like. I feel like if I had the chance to move to San Diego, I would definitely do. But at the same time, I'm like, maybe I want to. I don't want to live there because I always want to have that feeling. Was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm going to
Yeah,
San
yeah,
Diego.
yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
as a cabin crew, being in this industry, there is damage to it, which is you lose that excitement when you travel. So now when we travel and go on vacation, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna pack my bags and just go to another day of traveling. But for people that I used to do 22 flights a month,
Oh my
so
gosh.
that just tells you how much I used to travel. So San Diego is my number one in the United States. Second, of course, Vegas. I love Las Vegas. Las Vegas has been great. I mean, look at this.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. New York, obviously, one of the places. I would say Colorado and it's obviously I started getting Colorado because now I cover Colorado. The scenery over there is just amazing, magnificent. And then Catalina Islands. I like if
Yeah.
I would ever retire, I'd probably want to retire there and drive one of those little golf carts. That's a dream. But but that's pretty much. I
But
mean,
there you
the
go. I
list
mean,
can go
we got
on.
some places now. We got some
Yeah,
places to visit.
the list can go on. And Vietnam, obviously, I'm happy that we're going to Vietnam in 2026 because that's another place that I really enjoyed when I traveled there. So and the food, man, oh, the food everywhere. Just try everything. It's just amazing.
I mean, that's a big part of it. Well, Joe, I mean, first of all, thank you for spending some time with us, for
Of
really
course.
diving deep into NeoBiotech, but honestly, sharing a little bit of your story. I mean, now I think, guys, when you reach out to Joe, I mean, you should ask him. There is so much more, guys, because I've talked to Joe already. There's so many stories he could tell you when
I
he was
know.
working with the airlines that will blow your mind, but also honestly, actually will appreciate what is involved to get you safely from one place to the next. Like
Absolutely. For me, and
I've always appreciated it, but when Joe shared with some of the things, I was like,
yeah,
man, Like it takes it to another level there.
And you know, because in the beginning I said there's something that linked, and there's as well a great friend of mine in the UK, also a customer, you know, and as he became basically is a great friend of mine, and I know he probably will watch because I'm going to send it to him. Shout out to Adil Ali. So he basically was taken away with how that customer service that I'm bringing in from the like and hospitality from the airline industry into from the airline industry into dentistry. And he always preached about take that to the next level, always use that. And I always remember what he said. And basically he's saying like dentistry is dentistry, but if you have that hospitality and customer service that you can provide, that you take from the airlines, because obviously, you know, Etihad Airways is not a domestic airline. It's a very
Oh yeah.
high end 5-star airliner. It's an international carrier, so it has a very high standard, and we had to be really high standard. The way we look, the way we talk, the way we communicate with our customers, and even between the team. And it really helped me today to communicate with my team, my fellow team members, and my our clinicians and doctors. And I'm very grateful. I'm very blessed. And if anybody has kids that want to explore and get into the whole flying thing and travel, I've always told people go ahead and let them, because that will make them grow so much more.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Well, Joe, again, thank you so much for jumping on.
Thank you.
Thank you for the nifty deal. And honestly, guys, if you have any questions, we'll definitely have have the Instagram, the company Instagram there. He kind of watches it as well. And also, again, we got the contact information there. But look, if you want to ask some travel stuff, I'm sure Joe is down. Joe is down to share any of those things. But Joe, thank you so much for jumping on.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited about this. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time.